Sonic had a rough transition into 3D.
Say another mother word and it's over.
Wait. Hear me out. It's not what you think. No, the rough transition wasn't the game we're talking about today, but the build up to it. You see, after Sonic 3K and Triple Trouble released in 1994, the original designers of the Sonic game took a break from the series to work on new games that were not Sonic. Meanwhile, Sega released a plethora of spin-offs to recapture the Sonic mania that they once had, each varying in quality, with some being awesome and some being surprisingly enjoyable and some being just bad. While that was happening, Sega Technical Institute, or STI, was working on the next mainline Sonic game, Sonic Extreme, and it was supposed to release initially in 1996 to compete with Mario 64 and Crash Bandicoot. It's too bad it got canceled. Well, in 1996, you got Sonic 3D Blast. And no, folks, outside of the special stages, the Saturn version is not much better than the Genesis version. The only other 3D that we got was a mini game in the Christmas Nights in the Dream demo disc that you had to unlock, which was just the control scheme for the children except sped up, with Sonic being playable in that game. But that wasn't enough. This is what you had to compete with the 3D platform releasing at the time, and Sonic was not going to sell consoles with this game, whether you liked it or not. We eventually got Sonic R. Look, if you looked at every other genre on the Saturn, you had some banger lineups. Hell, Virtua Fighter was probably the Sonic for the Sega Saturn, or just Sega at the time. I mean, this was a 3D fighter in the arcades that was so popular, it got backported to the Sega Genesis 32X, and even had a Game Gear exclusive title released nearly at the end of its life, even getting a chibi kids version of it, a spin-off, a crossover with said spin-off, and even a Sonic fighting game based on its engine, with Sonic characters appearing in said crossover game on the Saturn. Yeah, Virtua Fighter was a big deal, along with titles like Nice, Panzer Dragoon, Daytona USA, Virtua Cop, Astal, Last Bronx, Virtua On, and Soccer Wars in Japan, and many more. The Sega Saturn should have been a smash hit, even without a mainline Sonic game over here. And again, it was in Japan, but it just wasn't cutting it everywhere else, and the competition was fierce all around. This is also a time where many big names of the early 90s or the late 80s began to die out, and Sonic would have easily been on the chopping block. Another fad that was going to fade away, and it was going to be a dream if Sega was ever going to catch back up. Fortunately for us, that dream, even if it only lasted a moment, would come back to life.